You wake up the day after a workout and you can barely lift your arms above your head. Your legs feel like wood. Sitting down on the toilet feels like a controlled fall. You wince. You tell yourself this is good pain. You tell yourself this means it worked. But what if that's not true at all? What if the soreness you've been chasing for years has almost nothing to do with progress? Most people believe muscle soreness is proof of a good workout. No pain, no gain, they say. If you're not sore, you didn't train hard enough. This belief is everywhere. It's in gym culture, in fitness influencer captions, in the satisfied groan you let out when you stand up from a chair. But the real answer is far stranger. Soreness is not a report card. It's closer to a confused alarm system, going off for reasons that have very little to do with how effective your training actually was. Let's start with what soreness actually is. The scientific name is delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS. Delayed is the key word. It doesn't show up right away. It builds over 24 to 72 hours after exercise, peaking around day 2. If muscle damage were simply proportional to growth, you'd expect the pain to track cleanly with results. It doesn't. Sometimes you train hard and feel nothing the next day. Other times, a moderate workout leaves you crawling up the stairs. Why? For decades, the leading theory was lactic acid. The idea was that lactic acid builds up during exercise and gets trapped in the muscle, causing the soreness you feel later. It sounds logical. It's also wrong. Lactate clears from your bloodstream within about an hour of finishing exercise. By the time you wake up sore the next morning, there's none left to blame. So what is it? The current understanding points to microscopic damage in the muscle fibers, alongside inflammation. Unfamiliar movement, especially eccentric contraction, where a muscle lengthens under tension rather than shortening, creates tiny tears in the fibers and connective tissue. Think of lowering slowly into a squat. Your body responds with immune cells that begin repair, and that response sensitizes your nerve endings. Suddenly, normal pressure feels painful. You're not more damaged than usual. Your nerves are just temporarily more sensitive. Here's where it gets genuinely strange. A landmark idea in exercise science is the repeated bout effect. Do an unfamiliar exercise and you get sore. Do that same exercise again a week or two later, at the same intensity, and you get far less sore, sometimes barely sore at all. But you're not weaker. In many cases, you're stronger. Your soreness response has simply adapted. Research by exercise physiologist Priscilla Clarkson found this protective adaptation can last for weeks, sometimes months, after just one bout of unfamiliar movement. This single finding quietly destroys the idea that soreness equals progress. If a workout stops making you sore over time, by the no pain, no gain logic, it should stop working. But strength researchers know that isn't what happens. You can continue getting stronger, continue building muscle, continue improving performance, all while feeling less and less sore from the same training. The soreness was never measuring your gains. It was measuring how unfamiliar the stress was to your nervous system. There's another layer to this. A well-known study by researcher Kazunori Nosaka found that even a single light, non-damaging bout of eccentric exercise could blunt soreness afterward, almost like a vaccine for muscle pain. Soreness can be manipulated, reduced, or amplified by what your body experienced weeks earlier, independent of today's effort. So why does the belief persist? Partly because soreness correlates with novelty. Change your routine, add new exercises, and you'll likely feel it. This creates a powerful illusion. New workout, new pain, must mean new results. But familiarity, not laziness, is usually why a workout stops hurting. This matters because the no pain, no gain mindset has real costs. People chasing soreness often abandon programs that are working simply because the pain fades. They escalate intensity unnecessarily, risking injury, just to recreate a sensation that was never the goal. Some interpret a lack of soreness as a plateau, when really their nervous system has just adapted to a stimulus their muscles are still benefiting from. This shows up constantly in beginner programs. Someone starts lifting, feels brutally sore the first 2 weeks, and assumes that's simply what training feels like. By week 4, the soreness fades, even as their lifts keep climbing. Panic sets in. They switch routines, hunting for that lost feeling, often abandoning a program that was working perfectly well. There's also a flip side worth understanding. Extreme soreness isn't a badge of honor either. When DOMS becomes severe enough to limit your range of motion for days, research suggests it can actually interfere with your next session, reducing power output and form quality during subsequent workouts. In other words, chasing maximum soreness can sometimes make you worse at training, not better. Exercise scientists generally agree that mild to moderate soreness is a normal part of training new stimuli, but extreme, debilitating soreness is closer to a setback than a milestone. Consider two people starting the same beginner program. One feels almost nothing the first week. The other can't climb stairs without holding the railing. If soreness were the true measure of effectiveness, the second person should come out ahead months later. But follow them for 12 weeks and the picture flips. The person who could barely move often skips sessions to recover, breaking consistency. The person who felt fine keeps showing up. Consistency, not catastrophic soreness, drives the outcome. There's a psychological layer here too. Soreness gives people tangible proof of effort in a world where results are often invisible for weeks. Strength gains are gradual. Fat loss is gradual. But soreness is immediate. It's something to point to and say, I did something today. This is part of why the belief is so sticky. It's not really about physiology. It's about needing fast feedback in a slow process. This need for feedback also explains why people unconsciously escalate training just to keep feeling sore. As the repeated bout effect kicks in and soreness fades, some interpret this as their body adapting badly, when it's adapting exactly as it should. So they add more sets, more intensity, not because their muscles need it, but because they miss the feedback. This is how overtraining often begins. Not from ambition, but from chasing a sensation that was never meant to be permanent. So what should you actually pay attention to, if not soreness? Progressive overload is one. Are you lifting more weight, doing more reps, or moving with better control over time? Performance markers matter more than feeling. Recovery quality matters. Are you sleeping well? Is your resting heart rate stable? These tell you far more about whether your training is sustainable than how stiff your legs feel on a Tuesday morning. Grip strength, the speed of your warm-up sets, how easily you hit your usual numbers, these are quiet, unglamorous signals. But they're the ones that actually move with real progress. There's one more piece worth understanding because it explains why two people doing the exact same workout can have wildly different soreness the next day. Individual variation in DOMS is enormous. Genetics play a role. So does hydration, sleep, even how much protein you ate that week. Soreness varies so much between individuals on identical programs that using it as a personal benchmark, let alone comparing it to someone else's experience, is close to meaningless. Think about how you've judged your own effort. How many times have you finished a workout feeling strong, even energized, and quietly worried it didn't count because nothing hurt the next day? How many times have you pushed into soreness that left you barely able to walk, convinced that was the price of progress, when your body was actually asking for recovery, not punishment? Your body was never trying to lie to you. It was sending an honest signal. You just learned to read it as something it never meant to say. Soreness was never a scoreboard. It's an echo of unfamiliarity, a temporary alarm from a nervous system encountering something new, not a measurement of how much stronger you became. So tonight, when you finish a workout and feel completely fine the next morning, you don't have to wonder if it worked. You don't have to chase the ache to prove something to yourself. The real answer was strange after all. The truth was never written in your soreness. It was written in what you did day after day, whether your body decided to whisper about it or not.